Okay, very good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Lasham Daily Briefing for today, Wednesday, the 21st of May, 2025. We'll start off with the synoptic picture. Beginning yesterday at about lunchtime, we had a very good day yesterday. Some sort of success at the club level with a couple of silver distances and some very good cross-country tasks by private pilots. So all in all, a very good day had. And we can see we had that nice area uh, of sort of calm weather, nothing particularly significant over the UK with a little bit lower, a little bit of instability, allowing us to have some good soaring conditions. Overnight, we're having these lows starting to move their way in from the Bay of Biscay and off the southwestern tip of Ireland, with a trough actually just on the south of Ireland as well, and a decaying cold front beginning to work its way down. That is in part what's causing what's going on outside the window this morning. And you can see by 12 o'clock, that trough has actually moved past where we are, that cold front getting a bit closer. So much of this weather is associated with that nasty little trough. As we look through to midnight tonight, we see still a little bit of cold front activity, and once again into tomorrow lunchtime. Week hopefully not as bad as today, but still some frontal features. Continuing to run it through to the end of Friday into Saturday, where we've got really quite a nasty little depression centered presently in the North Atlantic, with lots of weather coming off it just in time for the Nationals. We look at the sat pic as of 8:30, you can see this big wedge of cloud, very, very thick and dense indeed. Not especially lower in places, but the predominant problem being this sort of medium level overcast and the rain that's associated with it. And that's quite difficult to forecast and to predict. However, we are picking up on the radar, and you can see quite significant, a bit worse to the south over the channel. But nevertheless, we are still getting our fair share of it up here. If we run the Met Office prediction through, starting at 9 o'clock, we can see hopefully clearing by sort of 11:30. Now, whether the cloud lifts sufficiently by then is another question. And then there's quite a lot of showers associated or coming in behind after that trough has moved through, and that's probably associated with that cold front. So we'll get that clearance hopefully about 11:30, but there's likely to be a fair amount of showers coming through after that. The Odium TAF is quite long today, it's never a good sign. We can see 3005 knots, visibility 10 kilometers or more, few at 4.5, and there's a prop 30 between 9 and 2, which is what we're seeing at the moment. 6,000 meters visibility, showery rain, scattered at 1,000 feet, prop 40 between 2 and 7 of 6,000 meters, rain showers scattered 2,000 feet, and potentially even later on a bit of heavy showers and thunderstorms with CVs at 1,800 feet. It's not a particularly nice outlook, and that doesn't really tell much of a story of clearance later on. But Farnborough, on the other hand, are saying 250 at 6, Cav OK, and then between 7 and 4 local. 6,000 meter vis showers and rain, and broken CBs at 4,500 feet. So telling some of the much the same story. And then there's prop 40 between 2 and 4 of heavy thunderstorms. So that's definitely a hazard for us to watch out for in the sort of mid-afternoon as that thunderstorm risk coming in. But having a look at the spot winds now to the south of us, between northerly and northeasterly at 5 knots, and to the north of us, 360, so due north at about 10. I think locally here, as we'll just confirm with windy, we can expect northerly, perhaps even slightly northeasterly flow, but that will be reviewed throughout the morning before we set up, coming down across Lasham. So expecting a little bit of turbulence behind the trees, but generally, if we look at the Met Office local forecast, it's fairly light, sort of 5 gusting 10 northeasterly, becoming northeasterly in mid-morning, and then later on into the evening, we can expect that to go around to the west, which is what all the sort of TAFs have been saying. And we can see here, just using the pictorial forecast, rain until about 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then opening up slightly to for showers, and then quite nice into the evening. This is very good visibility. I'm not entirely convinced by that. Very high humidity today and a fairly low UV warning. GFS giving us a temperature of around 15 degrees during the warmest part of the day, with a dew point of around 9. And we're still struggling a little bit with the local webcams. But if we look at the current weather at Lasham, we're up to 11.5 degrees, and we can see that the temperature is very much plateaued with all this upper cloud stopping us getting any heating in. Dew point beginning to slowly rise, but I think the temperature will take a few hours to get up towards 15. Sky point forecast, very thick cloud with rain all the way until they're saying 1:30 local. Then we can expect the showers to come in, so we might get that, and that may help break up the overcast, but we will still have to dance around those showers. Possibly soarable in that gap, but I think it's fairly unlikely we'll be able to make much use of that today. But you never know. Thermal top winds, so winds at height, showing very much all over the place. General trend is northerly, about 10 knots. Look at cloud distribution then on top meter, starting at 8 o'clock, I beg your pardon, 9 o'clock local. You can see down here we've got all of this very low cloud, and quite a lot of auto queue as well. Running it through, see it does start to break up a little bit by about midday, and still very much overcast, but some gaps hopefully beginning to form. As you can see, by now 4 o'clock local, there's a little bit of cumulus with cirrus above. And then by 7 local, 8 o'clock local, it's starting to open up everywhere except here. And by about 9 o'clock tonight, it should be clear. No TAMs, nothing significant today. 16 as normal as Boston today, so live firing in the ranges there, and number 20 is data 132 Ash ranges. Onto the local airfield briefing now. Starting with the Odium cross section, and that absolutely tells the story. Low level stuff at the moment for the next sort of hour or two. We've seen sort of 500 and 1,000 feet in places, and that's sort of scattered, so there'll be areas of lower cloud against the higher base of around 2,000 feet. And you can see quite a lot of vertical development in these clouds, and turbulence and icing up in the flight levels. There's not a huge amount of improvement throughout the day, and they're not forecasting much of a clearance at lunchtime. But the chart only runs to 7 o'clock this evening, so it may open up beyond that. The thing to note here, about 2 o'clock local, the prop 30 in for CBs, so that is something we need to be very wary of today. And there is a red thunderstorm warning down in this box here. Surface wind, variable, sort of 5 to 10 knots, generally trending from the north. And visibility should improve later on, but still bringing those thunderstorms. Glider bookings then, for in the event that the weather does open up, there are 2 K21s for course flying. The Geo and SH9 are reserved for the bronze and silver course, and there's a K21 on booked instructional flying. We also have a K13 on the casual list and for club members, and there's a K13 allocated to trial lessons today. the moment, there are 6 on the casual list. So if we can have an instructor to assist, that'd be great. Even if it's not flyable, can maybe do some ground briefings or some simulator work, make use of the time that we have. And relevant today, the simulator is available as normal. It's also the GHC task week still running for the next couple of days. So do get involved with them. Hopefully get an opportunity to bring the kit out later on with the fairly light winds in between the showers. Movements today, we've got 2 forecasts, the same aeroplane. The first one's Beach 200 on a maintenance check flight at 1 o'clock local. All being well with that, they should be back in by 2, and then they're aiming to depart to, I think, Humberside by 15:30 local. So in summary, we have low overcast cloud with rain in the morning, beginning to lift into the afternoon, hopefully becoming flyable. There's a light northeasterly wind to begin with, and we're anticipating that becoming a westerly into the evening. We're on runway 09 today, and certainly initially, with cables on the grass to the south and the airtime on the north. And if there were, for whatever reason, anyone wanted to grid, that would be in the usual place, 09 north grass. And as always, make sure you're ready when the cable or tug arrives. And as we say every day, please ensure we do not land or taxi across the disused runways shown here in red. I'll leave you there with the airfield setup that we're becoming very familiar with now. We'll see you in the clubhouse shortly, and hopefully we get a bit of a clearance so we can get flying. And if we do, let's have fun and keep it safe. Thank you very much.